What's up, desktopers? Xavier Wills here for Desktop Bodybuilding, and today I'm joined by the third place finisher at the 2022 Tampa Pro and a man that has such huge potential in the sport of bodybuilding. I'm joined today by Quinton Eriya. Quinton, how you doing, man, off that third place finish in Tampa?
I'm doing great, man. Had such a great time there. How are you doing, Xavier? It's been a while.
Man, I've been good. I've been good. You know, obviously, like busy, got kids, like I mentioned before, doing YouTube, all that sort of stuff. But I definitely wanted to get you on after, man, like honestly, it was a clear top three at that Tampa Pro. I messaged you after the show, and I was like, dude, like, there's people out there that had you winning, or at least had you contending, you know what I mean? And you were contending because it was a top three where they moved you all through the middle. So how did that feel being in such a deep, tough lineup, man? Because there's guys down in like ninth and eighth and all that sort of stuff, but we're really, really good bodybuilders. And, you beat a lot of good names at that contest. So how does it feel going to that show? And after the weekend, how does it, I suppose, it all feel for you?
I mean, for me, it's just an honor. It's an honor to be able to make the improvements I made and just do what I love to do and showcase something and try. Like, my goal going into the show, obviously I want to win. I want to go there. I go to every show to win, but I had a goal to put on a show and I wanted to really entertain the fans. And I believe we did that. And I'm happy about it.
Yeah, man, for sure. Obviously, you've competed in Tampa. You got Texas this weekend, I believe, as well, and you're going to have a pretty stacked sort of a lineup there. And we'll touch a bit more about what you did from last year to this year as well soon. But I want to touch on Texas first because that's probably an even more stacked lineup if that's possible. Obviously, you don't have Keem Williams in there this weekend, but you've got the addition of Andrew Jacked and a whole bunch of other names. So how are you feeling going into Texas, knowing that obviously you've got, Kamal, who just finished one spot ahead of you going into that show as well? So how does Texas feel?
I'm more excited.
Yeah.
It's gonna be cool, especially with Andrew Jack, because he's also a Nigerian. He has like the great shape. He's big, he's bigger, so it's just it presents like a different set of challenges, I guess. And I'm not saying it's just them. I mean, Steve Kuklow's doing it, right?
Exactly.
There's a lot of really good guys, a lot of really good guys. So it's exciting.
Now, man, I want to share a few photos of you from the weekend off your Instagram page because the look was outrageous. Now, obviously, you mentioned Andrew Jacked. You both have great physiques. You both got more aesthetic physiques. But I will say that, to be honest, like, there's no offense to Andrew Jack, but your physique flows better than I believe anyone in the IFBB Pro League, to be honest. Like, that's obviously a big call, but I think that's definitely a true statement. Now, obviously going to that, like you said, Andrew Jacked is a big, big dude. How do you think you'll match up with him in terms of not only, obviously, you mentioned obviously size, he's a big, big dude. How do you think you match up overall, and do you think you can beat him?
I think I could beat everyone at this show. I spoke to the judges. Well, judges pulled me aside. They spoke to me, and they told me what changes they wanted to see, and we're working on them.
Awesome.
Pretty much just being drier through I think my conditioning was definitely good. I was not like perfect, but there was areas in my upper body where I could have pushed, like the skin could be a bit thinner. So I believe that if I make those adjustments, if I'm tighter up top, it's going to be a hard time for everybody else.
Yeah, and that's a good point there as well, because your legs, your quads especially, I've never seen them really that conditioned with that sort of level of muscularity. So it was actually really cool to see that. And yeah, like you said, up top, it's not like you're soft either, because in some back shots, you're harder than some other guys and stuff as well. So it's one of those things where it's like your physique's come so far, man. Like, I wanted to talk a little bit about that, because from Romania last year to this package, it's like night and day difference. Because I feel like, I mean, for you, what do you feel like? I don't want to say what went wrong, because it's not like you were bad. You were still, I believe, in the top 5 and whatnot at that show. But compared to this show, sort of what went wrong?
So the thing is, the year before at the New York Pro 2020,
Yep.
to get 2020, yeah. So I missed my mark, and the thing is, I made mistakes. And I remember at that time I was upset because I felt like there were certain things that should have been said to me from the people in my camp. And I was kind of pointing the finger a bit. And then I kind of I just had like a chip on my shoulder that whole year. So even for the Romania show, my goal was just conditioning, because I was out of condition at the New York show. And the New York show was a stacked show. It was a really hard show. So it didn't do me any favors because I was off. And I also was against really, really good caliber competitors. So it really kind of fucked me up. And I just like was working my ass off for the Romania, did like a 22-week prep. And I think my coach would want me to do high days sometimes, burgers, like I would stay away from them. So I think that prep, I was pushed a lot, and I was in condition, but I was really flat. So like the muscle wasn't pushing, especially up top, because my upper body, the density is not there like the leg is, like it is in the legs. So in the Romania, and also I wasn't there with my coach. So there was, I think the instructions I got with pumping up, like I pumped up a bit too late too. I'm not saying I would have like placed better, but I think I could have. I have the potential to be better. So it's just, there was little things. And the cool thing about my coach, man, he's always learning and he's always adapting. He's always getting better. He's always, he sees the data, he sees things, and like he makes the adjustments always, you know. So he saw, okay, we need to put more nutrients around the training, because the training is what's going to make the muscles push through more. And that was like one of the biggest differences with this prep. I was actually able to eat more. It wasn't like I was starving. Obviously it's not a lot of food, right? I would happily eat more, but we were eating more than I've ever ate, and just working hard very diligently. And the training was on point. The training never really skipped a beat. Whereas during Romania, I remember the last 4 weeks, the training was like, it's like, I just got to do this. You know, it was more about just doing it, but not being able to like actually have good workouts. You know, it was like more of a focus on cardio and just getting like super lean, because I had just not been lean, you know? So I think, just my coach is always finding different ways to bring the best out of me. And that's what it was. This off season was great. I was very diligent, and I got rid of all the things in my life that were bringing me down. I was in a relationship and it was taking a lot out of me. I was doing so much for the girl. And yeah, once that, like the prep started essentially at the time that I had the breakup. For most people, it's a hard time. For me, I just focused on my work, focused on my job. And, you know, I was able to do it at a much higher level because I was happier, less stress, and no problem. So I feel like I made a lot of improvements because my mind, my heart, my stress was in a really good place.
Yeah, for sure. Sometimes it's actually easier, like when you're going through some sort of stressful or grief thing to actually, it sounds counterintuitive to actually go into a prep sometimes, or go into something where you're diving into something, man, because I've done it before in the past, and I did it almost to a detriment where I got so dedicated that I ran myself so far into the ground, you know, like like you in Romania, you pushed it a little bit too far and then you went sort of backwards a little bit. So and man, I actually almost read that on your physique when I saw you in Romania. I thought, like, I'm like, no, you're in condition. I've seen you've been pushing it, and you've mentioned conditioning and you're pushing it. And I thought maybe you pushed it a little bit too far because you didn't have that same pop to your physique. And this year, it was totally different, man. And it looked like you added good tissue as well. So was there a weight difference between last year and this year?
So the last show I did last year was the Toronto Pro. So the Toronto Pro actually came in better than the Romania.
Much
better. But again,
right?
still areas where I could have improved. Came second. And I believe I was about 263 there. I was about 267, 268 this one. So from December to August, about at least 4 pounds, I think, of tissue. And yeah, I mean, looking at, I don't always check comments, but I haven't been criticized on my back. So that's a good sign. I guess it's improving.
Yeah, man, for
It could
sure.
always
Definitely.
be bigger and better. It could always be bigger and better because I have a big frame, but it's good to see that, you know, I've been criticized on this before, been criticized on conditioning. I'm not being criticized on it anymore. You know, I know that I'm making those proper changes.
And you had to stand next to Kamal's back double bicep too, man, which is pretty sort of mind blowing as well. But your back double bicep, that was one pose that I thought sort of came up the most, you know, like I really noticed just it was feeling out more. And you've got such a big frame. It's, you know, obviously it's a blessing in terms of like your potential, you know, when you got that big frame with the tiny waist, you got so much potential to win Mr. Olympias, like I've mentioned in videos and all that sort of stuff in the past. But obviously those early years, people are going to say, oh, he's missing bits here and there and whatnot as well. So you've had to sort of deal with that. And you're like, I can imagine if I was you, I'd be like, yeah, I'm working on it, like when people make those comments. So I understand your pain in terms of all that sort of stuff. What did you think about the top three from a Tampa Pro? I'm not asking you to put everyone in what place you thought everyone should have placed and stuff, because obviously, you're going to have biases towards yourself. But what do you think about Kamal and Akeem Williams?
So I did a Q&A yesterday, and like a lot of people were like, do you think Kamal should have won? And I think bodybuilding is subjective, I see why the judges picked Akeem. Akeem is massive. He has so much muscle. His legs are huge. The side legs are like ridiculous. The chest and the side poses are just like, so much muscle. So the thing is, it's bodybuilding, right? Open bodybuilding. Like, they like big bodybuilders. So that makes sense to me. But if they were to pick Kamal, that would also make sense to me because he was the most conditioned guy. I'm not one of those guys. I don't put myself, I'm like, I don't ever think I should place higher. I just focus on what I could improve, right? So for me, I'm happy with being third. And I know that there's changes I can make going into Texas, and I'm going to make those changes, and, we'll see.
Yeah, man. So
Do
you know where you stand on points now? Because I believe going into that show on the weekend, I think you're on 11. I don't know if that's right or not, or if that's the updated points. But that's what I've seen. I haven't seen an update. Do you know how many points you got from that Tampa Pro third place? Because I think that's a higher show than the other ones.
I'm not too sure. I'm not banking on going there on points. I want to win,
Yeah.
In regards to the point system, there's a lot more shows. There's not as many local ones. So there's a lot more shows that are qualifiers. So you could have a guy that just keeps placing fifth, fourth, right? And they could like overtake me. So I'd probably have to do another show if I didn't win the Texas to get there on points. So, but points is just, it's not my goal. I want to get there on a win. And I believe I can. I believe I can win the
absolutely.
The Texas.
Oh man, honestly, like I said the same. Well, Akeem obviously won the show on the weekend, but I said, had you competed in any other show earlier in the year, people would be raving about you and you'd have all this momentum going into the Olympia. But just because he's up against such good competition and such a deep lineup, and there's obviously some sort of controversy there as well, that, everyone's sort of down him. But I said, had you done any of those shows earlier in the year, and I think if you'd done it, I won't say any, but most of those shows early in the year, but prior to this one, outside of the Arnold Classic, I think you would have won, man, honestly. So you just sort of picked the toughest lineup of the year to compete in, or toughest two lineups of the year with Texas coming up this weekend. So you sort of got unlucky in a way there, but at least if you're qualifying against like premium competition. So yeah. So would you, obviously, if you don't win Texas, would you continue to compete to try to get that pro win to, qualify for Mr. Olympia?
So at this time, I'm just focused on Texas. I'm not thinking, I don't have a plan B at this time. My plan was to do Tampa. If I won Tampa, I would have still done Texas. Would have looked to win two shows. So, for me, as I said, like, of course I want to win. I want to get to the Olympia, but at the same time, I want to put on a show for the fans. I want to have a great time, and I want to just show out, man. Yeah, I look great, and I'm going to look even better in Texas. So that's what it's all about to me. And I want the fans to really soak this one up. And they are going to, because there's a lot of cool competitors. It's going to be a good show. But yeah, my goal is to win this one. And if I don't, then I'll have to think about what to do next. But for now, we're just focused on winning.
Yeah. So what is like a average day, average week? What does your life look like outside of just obviously going to the gym? It seems like you put obviously a huge amount into that. We see what goes on your Instagram and all that sort of stuff. And you're obviously very, very heavily invested while you're prepping. And it seems like you've been really heavily invested pretty much for the past 24 months. Obviously, I know you had your gyno surgery a little bit ago, and then you sort of tracked that, which I actually think was really cool as well. You actually, vlogged that pretty much. So I thought that was awesome. But, pretty much since then, it seems like you've been all in bodybuilding. But what do you get up to outside of it? Like, what do you do for fun? Like, what do you do? Like, what's an average day?
Let's see. I'm really into boxing, MMA. I like to keep up with the fights. Like, I'm really, really into boxing, especially. So yeah, I watch a lot of that stuff. I'm into basketball. I'm a sports guy. I like to go out, hang out with friends. I like a good laugh, I'm a very simple person. And it's funny because obviously I was in a relationship. So it's like my time and what I did with my free time before was a little different. Like, and the prep started, so it's like I don't really know what I'm going to be doing like when I'm not prepping at this point, but it's probably just going to be the same stuff. Like training is always there. Like it's not even, I don't even think about it. I'm always going to train. I'm always going to eat my meals, have a good amount of protein. And it's just like the bodybuilding aspect is a part of me. And then like, I'm not like I could live balanced, let's say when I'm completely off, I might have a few drinks, I might go out to a club or something, but that's only during those periods. But when that period's over, it's just straight bodybuilding. And video games. I game too. So there's that.
What games do you play?
Mainly like 2K. What else do I play? I have the Call of Duties. I suck at COD though. I'm horrible.
You sound the same as me, bro. I love 2K and I suck at Call of Duty. Like any of the shooting games, I'm too on edge, man. Like I play it and I feel like it stresses me out,
Yeah, I know it. It can do that. I like to get a little high and play with some friends just for fun because it's just like fun. You laughing and stuff. You're on the mics, but I'm not competitive with it. I've been playing Ratchet and Clank before I flew out here. That's been distracting me in between my meals, so that's been good. But nothing crazy. I just find games that will distract me when I'm dieting.
Yeah, that's the hard thing, bro. Like when you're prepping, obviously, if you don't have those distractions or you're not busy, it's like you sort of just look at the clock. It's like, it's only been 10 minutes. I've got another 40 minutes for my next meal, So
it's just crazy.
Yeah, I feel sorry, you go.
I was gonna say, I wish I had it with me. I'd be gaming.
Yeah, for sure.
But I just didn't want to bring it because the fear of it breaking on the flight. So
what is it, PS5? Yeah.
PS5, yeah.
Yeah. I've only got 4, so I need to upgrade, bro, and get 2K, and I'll play it for sure.
Yeah, but a lot of the games are like cross-platform, so it's like if you play games like Fortnite or Call of Duty, you don't really need to. But I mean, the upload's much better.
So I can play you on PS4 to your PS5 the same game online.
Yeah, Call of Duty, like Modern Warfare or Warzone, we could play together.
Oh, cool. Well, I mean, I'll have to get into that for sure, definitely.
Yeah.
That'll be mad. I've never played I've never played online or with anyone else being high, so I'll definitely have to try that. I've tried it playing like Formula One, and it sort of helped a little bit, but at the same time, it's like if you have too much, you're going to be really slow because that's one of those games you have to be concentrating, or otherwise you're out of a race. You knock your tires off and stuff.
Yeah, there's like a sweet balance you got to find.
There's a sweet spot. Don't try a new strain before playing a serious game. That's for sure. But man, so obviously your plans obviously to try to win a show, get to the Mr. Olympia. But going forward, I mean, obviously people have spoken about your physique. What do you feel when people say that you're a future Mr. Olympia or you're someone like that? Like, do you look forward and go, wow, like just even for a second? I know obviously you want to take it year by year, show by show, week by week, and each pound of muscle is sort of like another step closer to that sort of eventual goal that you want to achieve. But how do you feel when people say, Quinton, you're a future Mr. Olympia?
They're right. They're looking at the future of the sport. And, I say that with confidence because I know I've seen that in myself for a long time, and I knew that when I started using the PEDs, because I turned pro naturally, I'm sure I knew that I had the potential to be one of the best. And it's a marathon. I mean, at some points, you sprint. It's not like a slow run, but I'm here for the long game. I could put on the size faster, but I keep the anabolics the same place where they are when I started. And I just focus on training, keeping my body healthy, and food. That's it.
Man, I love it. And I love the way you and obviously your coach, Dorian Hamilton, who's also the owner of HD Muscle and Pure Muscle and Fitness, where you train and stuff. He pretty much like he's supplying you with everything in terms of like obviously the sponsorship and the gym and all that sort of stuff. But he's very, like you said, he keeps learning as well, and he keeps, sort of taking, his knowledge to the next level to improve his clients and then also improve his own knowledge base, which I think is really, really cool. And he seems to take a very conservative approach in terms of, like you said, all the supplements and stuff that goes along with it, because like you said, it's a marathon, not a sprint. And we've seen guys obviously come up before and then fizzle out, in their 20s. before they really hit their stride. And it seems like you're just progressively getting better. It's like, yeah, you can have a little dip here and there, but you're trending up, you know? So it's cool to see.
Exactly. Yeah, and the thing is, he also has those same like that same kind of mindset towards like even the supplement company. Like I've seen him like bring in a doctor within the past year to help out with, you know, formulating products. The doctor will do Zoom calls with some of his athletes and other members of the team to educate us on products. It's just like there's always something, like he's always learning, always getting better. And not to mention, he's a really good person, man. He's a good friend of mine. Like I get comments sometimes when people, like, let's say after the Romania or after Toronto, like, go to Milos, go to Milos. And I like Milos. I really like Milos. Milos is fucking like I love Milos. Like, I don't know him like that well, and I don't know if he knows this, but I'm a huge Milos fan. But and he does great, like incredible work with his athletes. Like I see what he did with Regan. Even I believe Joe Mackey, when he worked with him, he looked his best this past weekend as well.
Absolutely.
So Milos he's legit. He's a legendary bodybuilder, and there's other people too. There's a lot of really good coaches out there. But for me personally, this is first and foremost, like, we're getting better. We keep getting better. And this is like, it's very personal for me. You know, I need to really, really, really trust somebody. And I really, really trust Dorian. And I don't know if I can create that kind of bond or relationship ever again with somebody else. So I'll probably not, I'm not even probably, I'm not going to work with anybody else.
Man, I love to hear that. And it's such a rare thing of a sport, you know, like it's cool to see that sort of loyalty, man. Like we see it, obviously, you know, you follow NBA, you know, like everyone says, oh, you know, it's a business, you know, these guys, you know, get traded from teams or they leave teams or whatever. And it's cool to see, you know, especially in bodybuilding, man. Like you see some guys that have 3 different coaches in 1 year. It's not super uncommon, you know. So to see you sticking with the same guy for a long time and showing that sort of commitment, I think it's a smart thing, man. Like, and you know, obviously if it came to a stage where it wasn't working out for whatever reason, I'm sure obviously you'd come to that then. But yeah, like you said, Dorian is a good guy. And you know, man, like I have conversations with him and he's such a nice guy. And as you mentioned about Milos as well, it's actually quite funny. A lot of the time when you mention things, I'm like, that's my exact thoughts as well, because I actually had a conversation with Milos the other night. And it was for ages, but I was just listening to him and man, he was cracking me up on the phone. Like some of the stuff he was saying, which I can't repeat here. It was hilarious. And he's just a good dude. So we're definitely got to get him on the channel soon for sure as well for an interview.
Yeah, man. I love Milos, man. I love Milos. Love him.
Did you see, I don't know if you saw, if you've watched the Dennis James podcast where he appears on, but Bob Chigarillo was on there the other day. Man, Milos goes hard as well. He's not afraid to sort of, you know, say his opinion and be straight up at people's faces, you know what I mean? Which I actually like. Like, if I know if Milos had an issue with me, he would tell me. Like, he would tell me straight away. And it's like, or if he doesn't agree with something I say, he would tell me straight up. And I actually appreciate that because it leaves you not feeling anxious about, like, does this person have an issue with me or not? You know where you stand.
Yeah, exactly. I get it right off the put it right there on the table. You know, I respect that a lot.
Yeah,
I got so much love and respect for Milos.
Yeah, I respect that as well because I do bring up issues that I have with people, but I don't think I'm as direct. I think I you know, if I have an issue with someone, I sugarcoat it a little bit and then I bring it up. You know.
Yeah. I mean, for me personally, I'm one of those people, like, I will if it's like, if there's like if it's like a personal relationship, yeah, I'll bring it up.
Yeah.
But if it's not, like, if I'm not that close, I'll just leave it. Like, I'll just ignore it. You know, like, if whatever. Yeah.
For sure, man. No, I totally understand that. Bro, I cannot wait for the Texas Pro this weekend. I'll be watching here from Australia and, you know, supporting you and, you know, obviously everyone else as well, but I probably know you the best, I guess. I'm trying to think who's competing. Yeah, I think I definitely know you the best out of everyone competing. So I'm definitely in your corner, but obviously as a reporter, I have to, you know, if you miss the mark or whatever, I have to judge it how I judge it. And if you look phenomenal, I'll judge it how I judge it, man. And anything I do say about you, I am a, you know, before I met you, big fan already when you was 24 years old. I saw you compete, I think at the Toronto or Vancouver or whatever it was, seeing that physique, man. I was a fan before, you know, I got to know you as well. And I'm obviously a fan of who you are as a person as well, because you know, not only like, man, through your Instagram and stuff like that, you provide humor, you're a nice person. I think that you'd be an awesome representative of the sport, you know, when you do get to that Mr. Olympia, you know, winning level. So Yeah, I can't wait to see it, man. You actually remind me a little bit of like a Brandon Curry type dude, man. Like a very, very nice guy. So I hope to see him in your future. You'll be on stage at Texas Pro this weekend. There is going to be a live stream to it too, I believe. Is that right?
Yes, sir. There will
Awesome.
be.
So make sure everyone tunes into that. If I do get the link to it as well, I'll put it in the description below of this video. I'll put a link to the description, link to your Instagram in the description as well. And anything you else want, anything, but anyone else wants down there. Sorry, bro. It's 12:30 at night over here, so I'm struggling. But that's it anyway for this interview. Quinton, do you want to thank any sponsors or anything like that before we wrap it up?
So I want to take this time to thank HD Muscle. I want to thank individually Rachel Davis, Mariah Hamilton, Dorian Hamilton, Noah Hamilton, lots of Hamiltons.
Yeah, I was going to say all the Hamiltons.
Valerie Rachel, Alora Griffiths, Antoine Vaillant, Taylor. I don't know her last name actually. Taylor Burr, but I don't know. That might be a short form, but there's a lot of other people. But I definitely want to give a huge thanks to them. Thanks to Brandon Mendoza. He was my training partner for a lot of the prep. Thanks to Ricky Moten. He's been great to have around the gym as well. A lot of people. There's probably people I'm forgetting. Thank you to Iron Bull. Thank you to Prep Shop for making my meals. Thank you everybody for the support and for the team that came out and supported me. And my boy Hassan Stunna, like he's coming to Dallas with me. So it's cool that I have such great people in my life that could just be in my corner and, help me out if I need it. So it's just, I'm very fortunate, very blessed. And Steven Didoshak, my good friend, who's also competing in the 212. He competed at the Tampa Pro and he looked crazy. So I'm excited. We're going to get to do it all over again. So yeah, I'm just really pumped up, really grateful. And thank you, everybody. And yeah, let's do this. Let's get this win.
Bro, you are so brave trying to remember all those names. You said so many, but obviously, man, when you do it, when you started saying names, I'm like, you're going to miss someone, bro. You're going to miss someone. But you mentioned plenty, and obviously, you probably still have missed someone because I've done that before, and I've had people mention names on when they've thanked people and stuff at the end of shows, and they've messaged me later and gone, fuck, I forgot this person. Like, is there any way like we can, add that in or something? I'm like, yeah, I got you. Or like, I don't think people care too much, honestly, because when you're trying to remember names, but sometimes like it might be the closest person to you. So anyway, brave doing that, man. So I commend you on mentioning the names. And like you said, HD Muscle, man, they're like a family. Honestly, like I see one thing I notice as well, when you guys go to shows, you pretty much go with like a supporting team. And there's always the dinner afterwards. And I love that. Like, it's such a basic thing, but it just seems like a family vibe. Like, you always put the videos up and everyone does when they're at that dinner afterwards. I'm like, man, I want to get across to that and be at that dinner. Like it seems like it's such a cool family vibe. So
if you ever come on over one day for the Olympia or something, we'll set something up, man.
I'm coming, man. I'm coming. Don't worry about that. It'll be this year or next. So don't worry about that.
All right, beauty. Let's do it.
As long as we don't have any more pandemics, then we're good. But anyway, Quinton, I'll wrap it up, man. I appreciate you coming on and doing this interview. It's been awesome. Absolutely love talking to you, and I cannot wait for Texas Pro this weekend. So that's it for me, Xavier Wills and Quinton Eriya. We are out. That was killer, bro. That was awesome.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks. Glad we